We are going to get started here in a minute. We're just waiting for a few other people to log in, and then we'll get started. I think you're in for a treat today. And we still have people that are coming in, Karine and Nelisa. So we're just going to wait until everybody gets a chance to get in, and then we'll get started.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we're going to get started right now. Just so you know, Karine and Nelisa, we have about 15 folks that are in, and the people are still coming in. So we're happy to see everyone join us. Welcome, everyone. My name is Sean Allenby. I'm with the Ottawa-Carleton District School Board. I'm the e-learning coordinator there, and we're excited to have you here tonight. You're in for a treat this evening. We're being joined by Karine and Nelisa, who are going to talk to you about an inspiring and interactive session that empowers Black girls and all youth to consider entrepreneurship as a pathway to success. They're going to share their personal journeys into entrepreneurship, discuss the challenges and rewards of being your own boss, which is kind of cool, I think, and provide practical advice on how to start up a business even at a young age. Wow, I wish I had that type of info when I was younger. Students will leave motivated and equipped with actionable steps they can take now to begin their entrepreneurial journey. So before we get started, I turn it over to our presenters. There's a few things that you need to be aware of, folks. Just a reminder, please refrain from making inappropriate comments in the Q&A pod. If you do have a question, we have a lot of people here, and I'm sure Nelisa and Karine are interested in taking questions. All you do is you click on the Q&A button underneath your screen and type in the question there. You're not going to see it, but we will see it, and I will pose it to either Karine or Nelisa. But if such comments are made that are inappropriate, you're going to be permanently removed without warning from the platform and will be unable to attend the rest of the event. Okay, so without further ado, and I know we're not going to have to worry about that because I've seen some of the slides and they look really cool. And like I said, I'm going to be learning something here today. So I'm going to turn it over to Karine and Nelisa, and I hope you enjoy your session.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sean. This is really a privilege and an honor for us to be here. I'm going to get us started, but I know that the star of the show is Lisa, which we call Nene. So all of you are able to call her Nene, not a problem. And so I'm pushing 50. So I've been in the game for quite a while. And Nene just turned 20. And so she's a little bit closer to your age. So I want to really put a lot more emphasis on her. But I want to share a bit about my entrepreneurial journey. And then she's going to share some of her entrepreneurial experience. And we're going to talk as well. Why entrepreneurship? Why is it so important? Why you should consider it? And then we'll share some of our trials, some of our challenges that we've had to overcome over the different years, and then we'll share with you some ways to get started. All right, so let's get into my story. And so, really, it started out back in 2002. So that was before Nene was born. So I only had one child, and I was pregnant with her brother, her second brother. She's got four brothers, the only girl in the mix. So at the time, I was pregnant and I was looking for work. I was actually a career counselor. I don't know why it says financial mentor.
Oh, my bad. That's my fault.
I am not a financial mentor.
That's my bad.
But that's all right. And so, yeah, so I couldn't get a job because I was pregnant. And this is how I ended up finding out about entrepreneurship. Because really, when you go to high school, you don't really hear about entrepreneurship much. Even my parents didn't know anything about it. And so when I guess I was about 25, 26, and that's how I discovered the world of entrepreneurship. All these moms doing the stay-at-home moms, doing their career as well at the same time as taking care of their family. So that's how I like to say I fell in the entrepreneurial soup at that point and never came out. And then sort of, inspired, some of my kids to become entrepreneurs as well. My husband and I, we always, wanted to make sure that our kids did what they were meant to do, what their purpose was, what they really felt passionate about. So it's not about, just going to university and doing this and doing that. No, find out what you love, what you're good at, and then pursue it. If it means going to university, great. If it doesn't, then that's fine. So yeah, so that's how Nene, got into her passion, which is drawing. Started drawing since she was 7 years old. So I'm gonna let her take it away and talk about her journey now.
All right, thank you. So, I had the very much the privilege to have two parents who were in entrepreneurship. As so I already knew a lot of things when it came to that. And this is why I'm happy I'm doing something like this so I can show people who might not have those type of resources to hear from somebody else who does, just so we can share with each other and stuff like that. So as my mom said, I started drawing when I was really, really young. But I really started to get into trying to sell my art when I was in seventh grade. And back then, I legitimately sold my stuff for like $1. So that was like at the time I was just starting to get into it. I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do with my work. And I knew that I wanted to get into entrepreneurship, but I've seen it before and I'm like, what the heck is that? I don't I don't see myself in this or something like that, or oh, I see myself just going to work or something, going to work for somebody else. But when I really got to like see what it actually is about, I'm like, okay, I can do this. I see myself doing this. Even though I get nervous sometimes with talking to people and all the type of pricing and everything like that. Um, just going into it, being my own boss and everything like that, it's really been life-changing. And honestly, I'm so glad that my parents have given me the resources and I'm able to share these resources with everybody else as well. So yeah.
Awesome. So I think they want to know also where you started and where you are now, you know?
Oh Lord.
Absolutely. It's
All
important.
right. So yeah, I started selling my work in middle school. I was just giving it to I at one point I wasn't even like selling it. I was just like drawing people, drawing my friends or something like that. And then people started to be like, hey, like, oh, I would pay you for it. I'm like, that's really cool. So I started just doing simple illustrations on paper, um, just giving it to whoever my friends, whatever, whoever wanted to get drawn at the time. And then from there, when my art started to get better and all that type of stuff, um I got into doing commissions and getting people actually from a whole bunch of different places, the US, Brazil, the UK, just people asking me to draw them or to draw their families or different things like that. And I also got into drawing painting murals as well. And yeah, so it's like from just being in that little circle of high school to getting to paint murals and different things like that. Like I painted a mural in New Brunswick and that was like super mind-blowing to me. So that's where I started, and then from there I've just gone to I feel like a different space, you know what I mean? So it's really cool to see the growth that you're gonna get and also that I've gotten as well. So yeah.
Yes, definitely. And now she's illustrating for books and she has contracts with the government of
I forgot
Canada.
about that.
And her work was actually displayed at the Senate. And
Yeah.
so she doesn't like to brag much. So I had to, tell you some of the really amazing things that has happened since she stepped out and really allowed herself to grow in her entrepreneurship, right? And so why should you consider entrepreneurship, right? So there's so many reasons, but one of the things that's important is to discover yourself. I think entrepreneurship is one of the best ways to grow and discover who you are, what you're made of. And especially, sometimes you can live discrimination. If we talk about, Black girls, Black women, we could, get into spaces where we are discriminated against as an employee. But when you're your own boss, you decide, you make your own path. And so there's that aspect of really finding who you truly are and having that independence and making the kind of impact that you want to make, right? And then, not to mention the financial freedom that you can get because you decide how much you want to get paid. You decide what you want to achieve when it comes to finances. And so those are the one of the some of the great reasons why entrepreneurship is really a great option, career path. And you can start, right now. You don't need to wait until, even me, when I started, I was 26. That's pretty old still. So you can definitely start at a younger age and get on that path, right? And so sometimes we're fearful because we don't know what it is. And Nene was saying that's a little bit what she experienced in the beginning. She wasn't sure, right? But there's so many resources that are out there. We're going to talk about some of these shortly, but being surrounded with the right people makes a big difference. And maybe
Mhm.
your parents, they don't have the resources, they don't really know, if this is something that is a good option for you. I encourage you to, if you're thinking about it, to start doing some research and just look into it with your parents so that you both you and your parents can actually learn together and have, then you could have the support um, of, of maybe people in your family that are maybe your uncle, your aunt, extended family that could be entrepreneurs that your parents can introduce you to, so you can have some sort of model uh, that will make it less scary, right? So I don't know if you wanted to add anything to
Yeah.
me.
Also another thing that's great about entrepreneurship is actually doing something that you really enjoy doing and actually getting money from there. So at first, as an artist, I always thought that people would tell me, or I've seen online and stuff like that, that it's just like such a low paying job and that I won't be able to feel any type of financial just greatness from there. And I've learned that there are so many different aspects in digital art and in traditional art that are like insane in terms of the money that you could be making and the money that you will be making and stuff like that. So it's really interesting just to do something that you really, really enjoy doing and actually getting paid for it. And also, if you don't have people around you, like any type of relationships with other people who are entrepreneurs, now with the rise of social media and just online and all that type of stuff, you can get so much information online from other people who share their stories and all that type of stuff. And also just doing any of like your work online as well, like e-commerce, right? And all that type of stuff. All these things and social media, it's really super helpful and awesome because it's like you have this thing right there for you and you can just blow up from there. So it's really fun and really cool. Yeah.
Love that. Yeah, so for sure, it's not always easy. So let's talk a little bit about some of the challenges, that we've had and that you may, come across. So first of all, fear is normal, okay? But you got to do it anyway, is overcoming the fear of failure, the fear of people, maybe rejecting you or not really, understanding your idea. Maybe some ideas will be great and others will really flop. And that's okay. That's just part of the journey, right? And so the whole thing with entrepreneurship is you have a need that you're meeting with whatever you're offering, your service or your product, right? And so sometimes, even if you do all the research, you might end up with something that just doesn't work, and that happens. So, learning how to pivot from there, because there's always something to learn, it's never fatal. Failures are really a way to hone your skills and then try again and try other angles, and sometimes it's just a different type of product, different type of service altogether, right? And so the idea is that you want to keep persevering and really push past the fear, the self-doubt, all those things. And eventually you'll definitely hone whatever it is that you're meant to contribute to the world, because that's the way I see it.
Mhm.
Entrepreneurship is all about you contributing your resources that you were born with to really so the world can be a better place. That's the way I see it, right? And so normally, people just want to do something that is sure to work, right? But with entrepreneurship, you gotta be, open and ready to maybe things not working out right away. But if you keep at it, you'll definitely get to, your destination. So Nene, I don't know if you wanted to share anything.
Yeah, and one of like a big challenge as well that can be hard to overcome is like you said, the fear of failure, and also just the fear of feeling embarrassed by that failure. Like one time when I was in high school, I uh came up with these stickers and I wanted to sell a bunch of stickers. And I remember I was just hyping it up on Instagram and everything, and I was telling everybody about it. And then when the stickers finally came in, they were like this small. They were like so small. And then I was like so embarrassed to like, because the way I promoted it was just like these nice stickers that you can like put on your water bottle or whatever. And there was a manufacturing error and it ended up being really, really small looking stickers. And then people were like, what am I gonna like, how am I like, I don't want to pay for this. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, so it was a very embarrassing moment for me. But definitely don't let this fear of embarrassment, don't let these like small failure moments stop you from trying again, and just keep it, don't let that keep you from just becoming who you like really want to be, you know what I mean? Especially since like you're in high school and all that type of stuff. Sometimes the fear of embarrassment can be really high, because when I was in high school, I used to be like, I am not going to get embarrassed, I don't want to do any of that. So pushing through that fear of just being embarrassed in front of other people really helped me get like a really good head start in my entrepreneurial journey before I graduated. So I really do recommend just holding it, and don't be afraid of failing, and don't be afraid of the embarrassment as well.
Love that. I want you also to share the story about your TikTok journey, because
Oh
I
Lord.
think that's gonna help, anybody
Um
who's
so
wanting to getting on TikTok or any social media.
yeah, so in terms of social media, also like before I say that, also like in terms of social media, when you're posting on TikTok, sometimes you can feel a little down when you like only get like a few views or something like that. Like when I was first starting TikTok, it was like around the pandemic, so it was like around 2020. And when I first started posting, I got like 10 views, 20 views, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, why am I doing this? But then something crazy happened in 2021, I believe. Yeah, 2021. I just posted this TikTok making fun of the way people draw Black people. Because at the time there was just everybody was like losing their minds in the pandemic, and like they were drawing like Black people a certain type of way, and I was like really feeling like this is just not the way to do it. So I made fun of everybody on TikTok, and it blew up, but also in the bad way. So the press was pretty bad, and people were kind of mad at me for doing that, and then I kind of flipped it around. So I didn't let that discourage me, like all these hate comments that I was getting. I didn't let that discourage me from taking that clout and just switching it around for myself and like making it better for me. So when it happened, nobody was following me, just people were just throwing hate comments on me. So I was like, okay, I have to flip this around. The way I did it is that I basically somebody in the comments was like, why don't you just teach us how? And I'm like, let me just do that. So for a while on TikTok, I was doing tutorials on how to draw Black people. And because of that, I really switched things around, and I gained over 100,000 followers from there. So that was like the pivot
Crazy.
moment. There was two things I could have done. I could have just dropped social media. I could have just stepped away from there, because at one point I was actually like getting scared. Like people were like really mad at me,
Mm.
and I could have just dropped it, or I decided to take that opportunity and flip it around for myself so that the press can turn into positive press, basically. So yeah, that's what happened on TikTok.
Love that. I just love that story. And now you're what? You're at 140K or something
Yeah.
like that? Just crazy. And it's just growing from there. So, yeah, so let's before we get into questions, I did see some questions in the question box, but we do, and one of the questions was about how to get started. Definitely, really, really good question. So one of the things that's important is not to, um, I guess, you know, put down the small beginnings, and
Mhm.
so it doesn't have to be big. You can start with what you have, where you are. Okay. So if you have a talent, you have a passion, you have something that you feel like, hey, this could be of use to somebody, then that's a great way to get started, right? So even if it's a small scale idea, you know, just put it out there. Okay. It doesn't have to be complicated. Maybe you're super good at math, for example, and you're able to teach, maybe kids that are in a younger age, like elementary school kids, or even high school kids in a lower grade. That could just be a tutoring service. You could start like that, right? Very simple, right? So do an inventory of some of the things that you already love doing
Mhm.
and see how you can turn it into a business, right?
Yeah.
Nene, I don't know if you wanted to add to
Yeah,
that.
like she said, finding your passions is really a good way to get started. Just to know exactly what are you passionate about? What are things you like to do at home? Um, things that you can literally turn your hobbies into businesses. Like a lot of people saying, "Oh, like hobbies is one thing, making money is another." I'm like, "No, like you can, if you really do love this thing, you can really turn this hobby that you have into a business, and that won't stress you out either." You know what I mean? Because a lot of people don't, they fear that turning their hobby into a business might stress them out, it might take out the fun, but it actually adds to the fun, because what, you're making money and you're doing what you love, so it's actually awesome. um so yeah, like I started with just doing stickers, just drawing people at school and doing stuff like that. So like it's really having that small, humble starting, and then looking at exactly what you like to do, what you love to do, and just going online and really searching up and seeing around, like, you know what I mean? Seeing what is offered around, you know what I mean? Like for example, like me, the fact that I started teaching people how to draw Black people is because when I looked around, there wasn't a lot of content out there for teaching people how to draw Black people. You know what I mean? So I thought this is a really good position to put myself in. You know what I mean? So it's really seeing what you love, starting there, and then looking around and seeing like, how can I monetize this? You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's right. And I think, you raise a good point in a sense that looking at what's out there and what's missing in what's out there, And sometimes there's things that won't bring you money right away, but they could
Mhm.
contribute to something else bringing you money. So, for example, you wrote a book on how to draw Black people, right? And you're writing your second book, right? So that's one way as well to get some revenue, just by sharing. I mean, people from all over the world have bought this book. Every single month we get royalties from this book, you
And
know?
I was shocked because I'm a terrible writer. So take that in. You think, oh, I'm a really bad writer. There's no way. Just writing about something you're passionate about, even though you're a really bad writer, it ends up being good. I don't know how, but I ended up doing well. So
Exactly.
think about that, yeah. And
Yeah.
also about looking into things that are missing.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's simply your presence that's missing.
I love that.
Especially as like a Black person or a Black woman. Sometimes people are just looking for a Black woman in that specific field so they can feel more comfortable interacting with people who are just like them. Um, just like in like, let's say I mean, into more professional fields like therapy or different things like that, you know what I mean? Sometimes we're missing certain types of people in those fields. So it could be literally anything. Like your presence could be missing from this exact field. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And also talk about the pickeroo thing, because that's sort of like a hobby, but it's
Yeah.
actually helping your business too.
Yeah. So I've made four for now. They're basically Picture is a character creation app. It's a Japanese character creation thing where artists can make their own character creation websites basically. And the big since it was Japanese, it started out as a Japanese company, but a lot of Western artists started using it. But the issue was that there were no options for Black people to use it. So you would go online, you would try to make your own character, but there would be maybe one type of dark skin, and then after that, no hairstyles that you can do. So people can make themselves. And I saw that that was missing, and I was like, I have to do something about that. You know what I mean? So I saw that, and it started out really as a hobby. It started out as that. I didn't expect to make anything from it because that website is a Japanese company, so there's no like ad revenue or anything like that. So you don't get paid from the website exactly. So I wasn't expecting anything from it. So I just made it and I put it out there. That was the first one I did. I put it out there and it blew up and people started messaging me, first of all thanking me, and I was like super grateful for all the support that I've been getting, and people were following me on my social media, so allowing my social media to grow so I can sell more things. And also people were literally just sending me money as a thanks, like donating and stuff like that, and I was like, what? So that thing started out as just a passion project really,
Yeah.
to get more to have more options for people of color on that website, and it ended up just blowing up my social media, my all these accounts and stuff like that. Like also on TikTok, what got me to also 100,000 was showing the process of me drawing the pictures that I made and stuff like that. So that's another example of something that's just a simple hobby that bam, it blew up and I got revenue and I was able to monetize it randomly and I didn't even know that I could do it. So there are things that will definitely surprise you. When you're going in, you will be surprised. I promise you. I was very surprised about a lot of things. So yeah, very it was very fun project.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So just do it, just do it. And so to help you with that as well, there are some programs for youth entrepreneurship that do exist. And so I'm going to put the links in the chat so that you can, grab them there. Futurepreneur, you can start a company from scratch for the summer while you're, in between school. There's JA Canada that has two programs as well.
Mhm.
Be an entrepreneur and also start your company program. There's resources that the Canadian government offers for like funds and resources for people under 30. And then there's a program called Young Minds, Big Ideas, funding your youth entrepreneurship. So check those out,
We really urge you guys to check these out because it's you have a certain obviously time limit here because you guys are young right now, and it's a perfect time for you to really push on this entrepreneurial journey as you want to get into it. You know what I mean? So having these resources is literally just is really cool because you're young right now and you have all these resources, and then you're going to thank yourself in the future once you use all these resources that you have.
That's it. Absolutely. So let me just check out the questions here. Yeah, what if you want to start your own business but don't know what to do? So hopefully we answered that question. Where
Like
did
you
you
said,
start?
um identifying your passions, identifying your hobbies and different things like that. Also looking into those resources, looking into where things are missing, you know what I mean, in different fields that you love and different things like that. Identifying all these types of things, that's a perfect way to start.
Yes. So another question, can you start a business at 15? Absolutely. Any age,
Yeah.
and
And actually, a lot of people that what have I've experienced when I was in high school, just starting out at my business. A lot of people love when young people, 15 or even younger, or between those age groups, just high school age groups, middle school age groups, they love seeing those people starting businesses and stuff like that, and it will absolutely go out of their way to support you. So I fully recommend starting your business as you do. Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, so next question, how many roles in business are there? So, if I understand correctly, are you asking like what hats you have to wear when you're a business owner? If that's what you mean.
How many roles?
So, of course, depending on the type of business that you have. So, if what you're called a solopreneur, which is most likely where you will start off when you're a young person, right?
Mhm.
So, you will be the only person in the company when you first start. So, as a solopreneur, basically you do have to wear many hats at the same time. So the marketing hats, because you have to market yourself, because if people don't know what you offer, you cannot get clients, right? So definitely learning how to market, how to sell yourself. So you're going to be your very own salesperson as well. You're also going to be the one to manage as well, so you have to have a bit of sense of, the financial piece as well.
Yeah.
So definitely there are different hats that you have that can definitely be overwhelming the bigger the company gets. And that's why most of the time people go from solopreneur to business owner, where they have employees, and then the employees have the different hats, so that the business owner doesn't wear all the hats, right? But it's okay when you first get started. You don't need to worry about all the different hats. And so the important thing though is really to be connected, and especially when you're just getting started and you're young, best thing to do is to get started with the resources that we shared. And sometimes, if you're worried as well to become a solopreneur, you can start a business with friends. You can definitely start. Nene, and I don't know if you want to talk about that, but yeah, you definitely have done that as well, right?
Yeah, my mural business, I started with my friend. That's how we started by answering a call for artists on, I believe it was on Twitter or X as people say. Um and we got our mural accepted, and then we started doing it together. I don't believe I would have been able to start out myself, because there's a lot of like products that you have to buy and all type of stuff. So having the two of us together, having us doing it together really helped out in terms of how to start, you know what I mean? And now we do group projects, of course, and then we also do our solo things too, because we had a really good head start together, and then we're able to do our own things as well.
That's right. So lots of great questions coming in. Wow. So, can you possibly give some starting business ideas, Nene?
Me? Okay. Well, there's a lot. I'm like trying to think right now, like out of the top of my head. Um, a lot of I've seen, like, from when I was in high school, with a lot of my friends, a lot of people had ideas for clothing brands. A lot of people had like you said at the beginning, just tutoring, different things like that. My friend already, like, she throughout high school, she tutored and she got money from there. Um, there's also, oh, that's a really good, just to get to the top of my head. It's kind of hard to just come up with something. I mean, if you're interested in art, obviously, starting all these art things is really cool, like drawing people and stuff like that. Um, this is hard to-
I think starting with hobbies can definitely help,
yeah, exactly.
and observing, seeing, okay, what is missing? What could you do
Oh,
better? You know?
Um, for my Black people out there, there's a lot in hair care businesses, all that type of stuff, hairstyling, even white people too as well, just hairstyling and all that type of stuff. And also people love to get their nails done. That is something that I've seen a lot of people start, which is really cool, especially if there's not a lot in your area or different things like that. Yeah, there's this girl from high school that I know. She started her hair care business in high school, and now she's getting clients that are like people that I know that didn't go to our high school are going to her for hair because she's like so good at it. You know what I mean? So it's really cool to see that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely keep your eyes open and try, like there's things that sometimes even in your neighborhood
Hmm.
that people are paying for services and products that are, common, like maybe like painting or, lawn mowing, I don't know, anything
Yeah,
like.
there's also I mean there's a little bit more logistics that come into it, so you have to look into that. But there's also the food business, preparing foods and all that type of stuff, catering. And there's also what was I gonna say? Oh man, I forgot. I
It'll
lost my
come
train of thought. But
back.
yes, food is really cool, one that I've seen as well. People start yeah.
And what if the
And
market?
jewelry. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's good. What if the market for my hobby is very small? That's one question that came in.
What do you mean the market? Do you mean by
Meaning
like the amount of
the
people
people to
selling or the amount of people
yeah,
buying?
the people to buy the product.
The amount of people buying the product?
Mhm.
Um, uh, well, I think it's like a good thing, but also like you have to like think about it as a way as your product is really niche. So the people that are looking into it are definitely gonna like want to get into it. And also I feel like you can also look to see whether or not it's small only in Canada, or you can just go out and think about it worldwide as well, because there's so many people in this world and you never know that maybe could be small in Canada, but you're getting a bunch of orders from the UK or something. You know what I mean? So you have to think about it. Not think, but also like look into how big your market is in different places as well. You know what I mean? So you can check that out. Yeah.
That's right, absolutely. And also look at other people doing something similar and
Hmm.
seeing, who they are targeting, and maybe even thinking of associating with this person if they already have part of the market, right? It's kind of like when you see a McDonald's nearby, you're gonna see another fast food place,
Yeah.
because everybody who's into fast food is gonna go to the
Mhm.
different places, right? So it's that you have to think about it not as competition, but like for me, competition is a good thing, because if there's competition, that means that there's a market, you know? And so do some research to find out who else, is selling something similar, or even they're selling the same thing, and see how you can maybe even collaborate with them.
Mhm.
Okay.
This is all so excellent. Wow, I wish we had a lot more time. We've got a lot of questions in the background.
Yeah.
Nelisa, really amazing stuff for a 20-year-old. Congratulations.
Thank you
We
so
do
much.
have time for maybe one more quick question if you'd like to answer, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay. So the next one in line, what advice would you give to someone just starting their own business, Nene?
So from what you've heard, like really my biggest advice when you're just starting out a business is to not be discouraged. By just because you are just starting out your business. So you're not gonna blow up just in 1 second like that unless you're really lucky. Some people do. But don't be discouraged by what you're getting for now. Like a lot of people don't start actually monetizing whatever they're doing until like much later. So you have to really hone in, you have to really work on your stuff and don't like um put your stuff down just because you feel like you haven't been getting a lot of people or something like that. Like when I I did start drawing at 11 years old, but I remember I stopped drawing for a long time when I was 11. I started drawing at 7 and I stopped drawing for a long time when I was 11 years old because I felt super discouraged by my process. Like my progress. I wasn't feeling like I was doing anything. I wasn't like, you know what I mean? So imagine if I just put down drawing and never picked it up again. You know what I mean?
Right.
So really hone in, do not feel discouraged by your progress. Um as long as you work really hard at it, as long as you do what you love to do, you will be successful. You know what I mean? So yeah.
That's great, Nelisa. Thank you so much. We still have a lot of questions that were unanswered, but we're going to have to leave it there today, folks. Kareen, it was so nice to meet you and get your ideas on entrepreneurship. And Nelisa, what a fantastic career already at 20. That's just outstanding. And I'm going to give you some claps because I know everybody out there can't do it. But thank you so much for joining us. To all the attendees out there, don't forget to go to the VFair site. If there was something that Nelisa said to you that you really resonated with you,